episode 4. I promised something pretty cool today, and here it is. This is the new revised floorboard. I've already got it tied down on the chassis plate here. Here's our old floorboard down here in the trash. Here's the old side piece in the trash. Just to be clear, the fold design, the origami theory here, which this is done, we're not totally giving up on that. There's still some details on this car that we can use that on, just not on the perfect box. Race car and this car too are divided into 3 different parts. There's the office, which is everything between the front and rear bulkhead where the driver sits. There's a front clip and there's a rear clip. Those clips are designed, if they're damaged, you cut them off, you put another one on, just as long as the office stays unbent, you still have perfect pickup points for it. That's what we're going for on this. I want an absolutely perfect office that I can build out with my frame rails on either side. This right here is supposed to be 60 inches out to out. It's 60 and a 16th, just enough to screw us up. But we can still use that detail. Still do some things with it later. But here we go. Floorboard. New transmission tunnel piece. This car, there's 2 ways to build a car. There's a perimeter frame and there's a backbone, wishbone, whatever you want to call it, frame. Not a right or wrong, just 2 different philosophies. A typical American automobile up until it went to unibodies many years ago is what's called a perimeter frame. The frame rails come in at the front suspension points, they come out, they go down the rocker arms, perimeter, and then back in and over to the rear suspension points. A backbone wishbone frame uses the tunnel as the structure and wishbones out from the tunnel for the suspension points on either side. Corvette, a lot of sports cars use this type of construction. Not right or wrong, but this type of construction, this car lent itself to this type of frame. This box that is going to be the transmission tunnel is also going to be the fuel tank. More on that later. New side piece. This is a piece that I showed you a minute ago that was in the trash. Tab A, slot B. This is finger well. Rear bulkhead. Just like that. Front frame rail in. Notch just like that. Get in that way. There's beneath the transmission tunnel, there's what I call a utility tunnel. These pieces here, this is the 2 radiator lines, rear mounted engine, front mounted radiator. These are the heater hose lines, same deal. These are the air conditioner lines. So this is the bottom of the fuel tank. so, like so. I'm going to put angle plate up here just to hold this whole thing together for a minute. Do the same thing with some clips on, or some clamps on either end. Just going to hold all that together. Take the camera out of there. Now let's put it. There you go. Maybe not. No, I need that in. Okay. These are fuel tank baffles. These notches here are going to let enough fuel flow to get to the pickup, but not enough that it sloshes around in an acceleration and stop. Every bit of that fits good. There's that notch right there is for a piece that goes down the bottom of the dash. The pedals will be hung from that, the steering column, support for the dash. That dash is 38 inches long, so there's a lot there for that to support. This is the top of the fuel tank. This fuel tank actually comes to this point, comes up, and goes to this point. The fill is here. There's bend lines here for the fuel tank. I don't want to bend that yet because I glue it, but I need to glue it when I bend it. But those go in there, something like that. There's a piece here. Goes in that notch right there, like so. There's a similar piece that's going up here. Sidebar for crash protection. There's a piece that comes like this. This is where the body, the seal in the door goes to. This is where the body attaches down here. This is a rear shock bulkhead. Goes on here something like this. This is an upper frame rail, goes like that. So that locates that. The lower frame rail locates this. This locates the upper frame rail. Those two pieces like that locate the upper frame rail. When you look at this and eyeball the gap on the frame rails, it is dead nut. I've built over 300 race cars, and this is some of the coolest stuff I've ever done. That's just incredible. That frame rail is absolutely perfectly parallel with that one in every plane. That's difficult to do with conventional steel tubing and a chassis jig, especially when you start putting a lot of heat on it to weld it up. Got some other pieces here. This piece right here is going to go in here. Again, you know what? I can bend that because it's only 45 degrees and I can still get glue in it. So let's just kind of eyeball that and see what it looks like right here. Too cool, except it's way more than 45 degrees. That, with that, like that. I think it's going to work. This is a bracket I made. This is the emergency brake bracket in the origami stuff. I'm not going to fold this all the way because I've got to glue it, but you can kind of get an idea here. That's going to fold down. That's going to fold down. That's going to fold down. Oh, come here. Oh. Couple of rib nuts are going in there. Like so. This right here is going to go in these dog bones up here on the top chassis. I think it goes into this one right here. Yeah, top chassis, top of the fuel tank. Goes right here and right here like this. That's going to set up there like that. This little piece that I folded down right here is the switch for the emergency brake light. It's going to go in just like that. Make contact right back here when it's down like that. Something like that. Same thing with the shifter bracket. Again, I'm not going to bend this all the way because I got to glue it before it goes to 90 degrees, but just to get an idea, it's going to fold up like that. The shifter, which is a numeric brand shifter, we're a dealer for these shifters, and that is a magnificent piece of engineering. You see the bolts are going to line up there. These bolts are going to line up here. That goes in that corner like that. These legs go back. That's where the cables mount on the shifter itself. You see these holes right here in the tank top. That gives just a little extra room there for those linkages to clear. This back here is the sender unit. This is machined out here. There's a great big woofer speaker that sits here and gives just a little extra clearance for that giant magnet. Don't want that magnet getting close to that aluminum and attaching itself. Well, huh? Aluminum doesn't attach? No. Oh, okay. Alright, I'm glad you pointed that out. I wondered if you'd catch that. Good deal. Let's see here. I think that's about everything for today. But that's just way cool to me. I'm excited about this deal now. Next thing I'll do is cut the front and rear bulkheads out. I could cut the other side out, but I think I want to do the bulkheads. I pretty well know that the sides work. Do a front and rear bulkhead and put them on. This thing, I almost forgot. This thing will start looking like a car. One last thing. I couldn't resist this. This is a seat that's going in it. It's going to the insert in this seat's going to be reupholstered, but these are the seats that are going in it, and it sits in there just about like that. I think that's a wrap for today.